Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at some more Skyrim mods. I've noticed quite a few interesting mods lately, especially ones built around SKSE plugins. So I picked out the ones that stood out the most for this showcase. You don't have to use every mod featured in this video. I just hope you'll find at least one that's useful for your own mod list. With that said, let's not waste any time and jump right in. Bobbing Framework is a lightweight SKSE-based framework that allows static objects to gently bob and sway at runtime, creating more dynamic and immersive environmental interactions. For example, when a character steps onto a small boat, the framework simulates weight distribution. The boat subtly tilts and sinks beneath the character depending on where they're standing, making it feel as though their weight is actually affecting the boat. The framework itself is driven by JSON configuration files that assign bobbing behavior to specific objects. While the included examples focus on boats and floating objects, there's no reason the same system couldn't be applied to hanging bridges, suspended platforms, floating ice, or even hanging swings. Because it works without replacing existing meshes or plugins, installation is simple, and compatibility with other mods is excellent. Simply adding realistic weight-based movement to what were previously rigid, plastic-like boats is already a huge improvement. The included configurations also make fishing boats and floating barrels drift naturally on the water, while ice floes in Skyrim's northern seas gently rock with the waves. More importantly, this is a framework rather than a single-purpose mod. It provides a foundation that other mod authors can build upon, making it possible to introduce realistic bobbing behavior to many different types of objects in the future. It's a deceptively simple idea, but one that has enormous potential to improve immersion throughout Skyrim. Dynamic Settings is a lightweight SKSE plugin that lets you change Skyrim's game settings in real time, without restarting the game. If you've ever tweaked your INI files, you probably know the usual process. Close the game, change a setting, launch Skyrim again, and hope it looks the way you want it. Dynamic Settings eliminates that entire workflow. Instead, you can adjust supported game settings while you're actually playing and see the results immediately. The mod uses the menu framework, providing a simple interface where you can modify settings on the fly without leaving your game. Whether you're adjusting shadow quality, grass settings, LOD values, or other engine options, the changes are applied instantly, making it easy to compare visual quality and performance in real time. This makes the mod especially useful for anyone trying to optimize their load order or fine-tune graphic settings. Rather than constantly restarting Skyrim to test different values, you can experiment freely until you find the balance between image quality and performance that works best for your system. In the original Skyrim, you couldn't check how armor or clothing looked until you actually tried it on. Sometimes, you even had to use the console to add dozens of modded items to your inventory, just to try them on one by one and see how they look. Since it's only a visual preview, your currently equipped gear, stats, enchantments, and equipment remain completely unchanged. If you're someone who installs lots of armor mods, this is incredibly convenient because you can browse through dozens of outfits without constantly equipping and unequipping every single one. Fitting Room, on the other hand, brings ESO-style transmog to Skyrim. It lets you keep wearing their strongest equipment while freely changing its appearance to any armor you prefer. In other words, your character keeps all the original stats and enchantments while only the visual model is replaced. For example, if you obtain a powerful set of orcish armor but don't like how it looks, you can simply change its appearance to another armor set you prefer while keeping all of the orcish armor's original attributes. Each appearance change costs 100 septims. One detail I really like is that both mods only respond to their hotkeys while you're inside inventory-related menus. Pressing those same keys during normal gameplay won't accidentally trigger the mods, which is a very smart design choice. Both mods are built on the Flick framework. They don't require an ESP plugin, and they work without using scripts that manipulate equipment, so I think this is a pretty stable approach. If you've always wanted to stick with Skyrim's traditional gear progression, but were never satisfied with the appearance of vanilla or modded armor, or if you found it tedious to equip every piece of gear just to see how it looked, these mods can make the whole experience much more convenient and enhance the way you play. If you've ever gone underwater in Skyrim, you've probably noticed something missing. Even though your character is clearly holding their breath, there are no air bubbles at all. It makes the underwater experience feel a little lifeless. Underwater Bubbles fixes that with one simple feature. Whenever the player, NPCs, animals, or other living creatures are underwater, they naturally release small streams of bubbles while holding their breath. It's a subtle effect, but it makes diving feel much more believable. The plugin runs entirely through SKSE, so there's no need for patches or special compatibility files. It also works automatically with most mod-added NPCs and creatures. Performance impact is essentially negligible, as it only adds a lightweight particle effect while underwater. If you're building an immersive Skyrim setup with water or graphics overhauls, this is one of those tiny details that helps make the world feel just a little more alive. It's a small mod, but it's a nice finishing touch that you probably won't want to play without once you've seen it in action. One thing that has always made Skyrim's world feel a little static is its particle effects. Smoke rises straight into the air, dust barely moves, and magic particles just float in place, even during heavy storms. Particle Wind changes that. Instead of replacing meshes or editing individual effects, this SKSE plugin works directly at the engine level, allowing particle effects to react to Skyrim's actual wind direction and wind strength in real time. I never really noticed this before, but once I became aware of it, I felt like this was a mod I simply had to add to my load order. If you're someone who appreciates these subtle details and wants a more immersive Skyrim experience, I think this mod is definitely worth checking out. The Race Menu Prisma UI mod doesn't add new character creation features. Instead, it completely redesigns the race menu interface with a clean, modern look while making the entire character creation process much more intuitive. If you've been using Race Menu for years, you'll know that it's incredibly powerful, but its interface has started to show its age. Prisma UI gives it a fresh, new design without changing the core functionality that everyone is already familiar with. One of the first things you'll notice is the redesigned layout. The race selection menu has been transformed into a clean, card-based interface, and every category has been reorganized to make navigation much faster and easier. For players with hundreds of race menu sliders installed, Prisma UI introduces one of its most useful features, a slider search function. Instead of scrolling through an endless list, you can simply search for the slider you're looking for, making character creation significantly faster. Another great quality of life feature is the ability to display only the sliders you've modified. When you're fine-tuning a character, this makes it much easier to review your changes without digging through hundreds of untouched settings. Preset management has also received a major upgrade. Prisma UI can display important information about your presets, including required plugins, head parts, and missing dependencies, making it much easier to organize and troubleshoot your character presets. It also adds undo and redo support, so if you accidentally change something you liked, you can quickly step backward or forward without having to start over. For even greater precision, slider values can be entered manually instead of relying solely on dragging the sliders. If you're using Body Slide, you'll appreciate another convenient addition. Body shapes created in Race Menu can be saved directly as Body Slide presets streamlining your entire customization workflow. Perhaps the biggest advantage of Prisma UI is how it's implemented. Rather than replacing or modifying Race Menu itself, Prisma UI works as an interface layer on top of the existing system. That means you keep all of Race Menu's functionality while enjoying a much cleaner and more modern user experience. Finally, we have Nomad, Dunmeri, Bedrolls, and Tents. This mod is a visual replacer that swaps the worn Nordic-style bedrolls and tents throughout Solstheim with Dunmer-style camping gear. It uses base object swapper, so it dynamically swaps the objects without directly editing the original records, so everything blends in naturally. If you've been adding Sothasimp's bedroll replacers to your mod list, you'll probably want to add this one too. It also supports the Use Those Blankets patch. I explored the exterior cells of Solstheim and found about 4 locations using this mod's bedroll and tent objects. What really stood out to me was the Dunmer-style lantern placed near the entrance of each tent. I do wish those lanterns had SMP physics or support for a lighting patch. That's a bit disappointing. But if you like Sothasimp's bedroll and tent style, or you just like the design of this mod, it's definitely worth giving it a try. That's all for today's video. I hope you found at least one mod worth adding to your load order. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more Skyrim mod showcases. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.